Sorry, did everyone hear me? Can I get a roll call attendance?
Ms. Hernandez,
Present.
Mr. O'Regan,
Present.
Ms. Enriquez, Ms. Cabral, Mr. Gomez Pereira, Ms. Valderas,
Present.
Dr. Neville,
Present.
Ms. Covas Caraballo just walked in, and Ms. Alfaro is absent today. We have 6 members present and 3 absent.
Okay, thank you. Approval of the minutes of the regular school committee on March 5th, 2025, and the public hearing on March 13th, 2025. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
We will move now on to public comment. Anyone wishing to speak, please go up to the podium. I'm sorry, first sign in your name. Okay, put in your name, first and last name, and your address, and you can speak at the podium. Please, they'll be timed 2 minutes per person, and anyone needing translation, please let us know, and we will translate into Spanish. Okay? We all set?
Is the interpreter with the...
The interpreter's not, oh, he's here
He's
now.
here.
Oh, okay, oh, perfect, the interpreter is here.
Así que si alguien necesita interpretación para toda la reunión,
El que necesita que le interpreten la conversación, ahí está el intérprete, él puede ayudarlo. Do they have the...
Si necesita traducción, hay audífonos que Michael Sullivan aquí en la esquina tiene, si necesita.
Perfect. ¿Entendieron? Todo el mundo un poquito, todo el mundo te dijo un poquito. Muchas gracias. Okay, thank you. Anyone that wants to speak, please, you can form a line and go up and speak. Anyone? What happened? I told them to put the names and their addresses. Yeah, no, I don't have to say it. And if they want to say it, they can say it.
I stand before you today to advocate for the prioritization of sex education in our school's budget. It is becoming increasingly clear that the comprehensiveness, well-funded sex education programs are no longer a luxury, but an urgent necessity. The rates of teen pregnancies and sexually transmitted diseases have been rising, and without proper education, we are doing a disservice to our youth. In recent years, we have witnessed an alarming trends that cannot be ignored. Teen pregnancy rates have risen throughout the years, and the spread of STDs among adolescents is growing at a concerning pace. The numbers speak for themselves, but behind those numbers are youth, living lives being impacted by the consequences of lack of education and preparedness. Sex education is not simply about teaching students the biological aspects of human sexuality. It is about equipping them with the tools to make informed, responsible decisions. It's about fostering a culture of consent, respect, and understanding of personal boundaries. It's about helping our teens understand their bodies, relationships, and the importance of communication and protection. We cannot afford to wait any longer. Every day that goes by without sufficient sex education is another day where teens may unknowingly put themselves at risk. By allocating more of the school's budget to robust and comprehensive sex education programs, we are not only preventing negative outcomes like teen pregnancies and STDs, but also promoting a healthier, more responsible adults. Thank you for your time and consideration. Let us stand together and prioritize the well-being of our youth through education, understanding, and support. We hope to hold this vote until a later date so that we can incorporate the students' concerns into the budget. Thank you.
Okay. Right.
And it's always best to speak close to the microphone like this.
So does this sound good? Okay. Do I start now? Good evening. My name is Andrea Mendez, and I'm a sophomore at Chelsea High School. Last Friday, March 21st, 2025, we were promised a meeting with Principal Obed Morales to discuss the student panel that took place the day before. During that panel, some students, including myself, approached him and Dr. Abeda to express our concerns about school protocols, which we don't feel that help us succeed. We were direct and at times disrespectful, and we were frustrated by the system's failure to provide the education and support we need. At the end of this meeting, Obed had promised he and the other administrators would meet with us during the school day. However, when I arrived at school, I inquired about the meeting. I was told that Obed was absent. He had called out that day. This is frustrating because he had said that Friday was all freed up for us to meet. This lack of commitment makes us feel as though we are not valued despite being told otherwise. Later that day, we planned a follow-up meeting in the library after school to gather more students' perspectives on school safety improvements, but the library where we were planned to meet was closed after third period and has not reopened since. This only deepens our sense that our voices aren't being taken serious. Obed's absence, despite his earlier promises and the closure of the library, is very frustrating. It shows a clear disregard for students' concerns and further proves that the administration is not following through on commitments. This lack of communication and respect is both disappointing and discouraging. We need better communication channels between students, staff, and the administration. Budget adjustments could allow for more effective communication, ensuring that promises are kept and students' voices are truly heard. We are asking for accountability for those in power as these repeated failures are damaging to trust we place in the system. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Sanabria. I'm a senior at CHS. We believe that our school funding is being allocated to unnecessary areas such as excessive spending on the cafeteria, bathrooms, and an increased number of security guards rather than prioritizing overall quality and effectiveness. While safety is essential, we feel that the administration's current priorities do not best serve student needs. Instead of solely increasing the number of security guards, resources should be directed towards comprehensive staff training to ensure a safer and more supportive learning environment. Additionally, we have observed a concerning pattern in which funding prioritization had led to hiring more security personnel at the expense of teacher salaries, which, by the way, a new security guard was introduced to us today. As a result, we continue to lose qualified educators, leading to a shortage of teachers and overcrowded classrooms in crucial courses. In my sophomore year, AP US History class, there were 30 students. In my junior year AP English class and composition class, there were 32 students. In my senior year AP Art History class, there are currently 30 students. These are subjects that are vital to our students' academic success. Furthermore, frequent teachers' absences leave students with unprepared substitutes for days at a time, significantly impacting the quality of education. True safety extends beyond security personnel and bag searches. It includes ensuring students have access to a stable and well-supported learning environment with dedicated, experienced educators. We urge the administration to reconsider its budget allocations to better reflect the needs of the students and the quality of education at Chelsea High School. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the school board and my community. My name is Max Castellon, and I'm speaking today in supporting of a possible budget adjustment to implement violence prevention classes at Chelsea High School. As a student and a community member, I believe we have a unique opportunity to improve the environment for both current and future students by prioritizing these programs. Violence, whether physical, verbal, or emotional, creates a toxic environment that limits students' ability to learn and engage. By introducing violence prevention educations, we provide students with those tools to address conflicts constructively, reducing bullying and promoting non-violent solutions. These programs teach essential life skills, including emotional control, communication, and conflict resolution, helping students navigate difficult situations while fostering respect and belonging within the school. For current CHS students, the investment can have immediate and lasting effects. Recent events such as a tragic death of a teenager and intruder at the school and increased bullying incidents highlights the urgent need for these programs. Violence prevention can help diffuse harmful situations and create a safer, more supportive learning environment, allowing students to succeed academically and socially. Overall, investing in violence prevention education is an investment in the future of Chelsea High School. It helps students develop the skills to be positive and responsible members of society and creates a long-lasting culture of safety and respect. I urge you to approve the necessary budget adjustment to make this vital initiative a reality. Thank you for your time and consideration. That is all.
Good evening. My name is Evelyn Fibo Sanchez. I'm a freshman at Chelsea High. I have come to you with the concern of the rising issue of youth violence. Though youth violence in Chelsea has reached a crisis point, with many teenagers falling victim to gang-related violence that has taken too many young lives. The city's lack of sufficient support for its youth has created an environment where gangs are seen as an outlet for belonging, leading to a cycle of destruction and loss. Chelsea High School and other local institutions are not providing enough opportunities for students to envision a life beyond violence, leaving many with a few opportunities. We need the city to prioritize funding for new security guards that will take their job very seriously and not let students get away with things they should have consequences for. Also, funding for programs that offer mentorships, job readiness, mental health support, and safe spaces for young people. By investing in youth development, we can provide the guidance and resources necessary to help them escape this dangerous cycle and realize their full potential. It's time to come together as a community to offer our youth a better future, one free from the violence and despair that has defined too many of their lives. How many more of us have to lose a life until you start to see the bigger picture? Thank you.
Are there any further comments? Okay, we thank you for your comments. And at this point, we'll move on to presentations. I'll hand this over to Dr. Almeida.
First, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you to our youth for being here tonight and to our staff and other guests. We are grateful that you are here. As you know, or may not know, this month is Women's History Month. And in the Chelsea Public Schools and in our community, we have a lot of women who inspire and educate future generations, which is the theme for Women's History Month. And so with so many women leading in the Chelsea Public Schools, we would like to honor a few of the women in our schools and in our community that support us. So for our first group are our principals. And so if our principals can come up, we have Margot DeBlasio, who is the principal of the Early Learning Center. And Blanca Restrepo, who is the principal at the Berkowitz. Miss Kimberly Crawley, who is the principal of the Hooks Elementary School. Miss Lisa Lineweaver, who is the principal at the Kelly School. And Miss Meg Mancini could not be here tonight, and she's the principal of our Chelsea Virtual Learning Academy. So we have 11 schools, and out of our 11 schools, more than half of our schools in Chelsea Public Schools are being led by women. We thank you for all that you do and inspiring our future generations. So thank you. And so, come up and we'll have you a certificate and take some pictures. Oh, Katie, I am so sorry. Katie Cook, I was like, you're looking right at me. She's our principal at the Brown Middle School, too. Thank you.
Hers?
Yeah, I
I'll
just
look
wanna-
for it. Go down.
Okay.
Go down. You go down. I'll look for
Okay.
it.
Well, maybe.
Hold on a second. Oh my God. Here, hold mine. Give me, hold mine. I just want to see if hers was here so I could give her hers. Now you have to wait for me to come so you can take a picture. No? Okay. No.
Okay. All right. And our next award is a person who does so much, and you often don't know what she does, but she oversees all of our crossing guards. She fills in the gaps whenever we need something, and that is Miss Kim Jarasi. So, and Kim is the only woman in buildings and grounds. So we're so grateful for you, Kim.
Will you sign this one when you get back here? Yeah. I tried Dunkin' Donuts. Took Cheryl's out, she's not here. Oh, okay. But I added her.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Wait a minute, I have to sign one that she was put there in front of me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, our next group are two women who hold me accountable and who make sure that we are doing what's best for all of our educators in the Chelsea Public Schools. The first one goes to Vanessa Mercado Mendoza. She is our Vice President of the Chelsea Teachers Union, and our President, Catherine Anderson. Thank you. Thank you for your advocacy and just how you lead and make sure that we are doing what's best for our educators. So. As you can see, we have a lot of women leaders in our school system. Our next group of leaders that I'd like to recognize is our cabinet, the women on our cabinet team. So this is, for those of you that don't know, cabinet is the superintendent's cabinet leadership team, and I have an amazing, strong group of women and at the cabinet level. So. Dr. Tamar Blake Canty, Miss Michelle Martinello, Christine Lee, and Billy Joe Turner. A group of very strong women. Okay. And we have one woman who is with us, who has been our school committee chair and has been on school committee for a long time, and now is on city council that we'd like to honor, and that is Ms. Kelly Garcia.
Stand there and we'll sit here and you take a picture. No, that doesn't work? No?
Come on, Anna.
I guess I'm getting out. Look at me, I tried.
Okay. And where are my notes? Okay. And then, okay, yes. Okay. Our next award that I wanted to read her bio, because our state rep, Judith Garcia, is actually a graduate of Chelsea Public Schools. So, Judith is a role model for many of our youth, our women in Chelsea Public Schools, because she went through, you were at the Kelly, and then where did you go to middle school, Judith? In the Williams, and then you're a graduate of Chelsea High School. And so Judith is a role model for many, and she's now a state rep. She serves on many committees. I want to read her bio because I want our youth to be proud of where they come from, to be proud of being a graduate of Chelsea High School, and to be proud of being in Chelsea. So State Representative Judith Garcia, a proud Chelsea native, has dedicated her career to public service. In Massachusetts legislature, she serves as the Vice Chair of Joint Committee on Children, Families, and Persons with Disabilities, and has membership on the House and Joint Committee of Ways and Means, Joint Committee on Healthcare Financing, and Joint Committee on Education. Before her legislative tenure, she worked in healthcare at a Boston nonprofit and in the private sector, focusing on cybersecurity. In a historic achievement, she became the first woman to represent the 11th Suffolk District in the Massachusetts House of Representatives after serving several terms on the Chelsea City Council. Beyond her elected roles, Garcia has contributed to U.S. diplomatic efforts, participating in missions to Brussels, Russia, and Taiwan. In 2022, she was appointed by the U.S. National Security Council as an advisor on Honduran affairs in preparation for Vice President Kamala Harris's visit to the country. In her spare time, Garcia is dedicated to empowering political leaders across party lines. In 2024, Garcia was selected by the National Association of Latino Elected Officials to lead a bipartisan training program for newly elected state legislators nationwide. Her dedication to public service drives her work at both the local and state levels. Thank you, Judith, for your leadership. We're so thankful, and thank you. And our last group does not have to move unless they want to, is the women that sit on the Chelsea School Committee. Yes, and we wanted to say thank you because it is this school committee that is such a role model for many, being majority female and Latina, who have took a chance in me 6 years ago and hired a Latina superintendent. I am maybe one of 5 Latina superintendents in the state of Massachusetts. So I just want to say thank you to this school committee who believes in me and who supports me and who comes alongside and helps me lead Chelsea Public Schools, because I cannot do this without you. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And I am, every day when I talk about my school committee, I say I am so blessed and so grateful. So thank you. So to our chair, Ms. Hernandez, thank you. I love you. And to, where's Miss Lucia? Thank you. Kathy Cabral, thank you. And she is a graduate of Chelsea High School. Yes. Clary Covas Caraballo. Did you graduate from Chelsea High School? Yes, she did. Yep. Did.
Red Devil all the way.
Dr. Sarah Neville, whose child goes to Chelsea Public Schools, so thank you for believing, but thank you for believing in us. And for Lucia, our vice chair here, thank you, Lucia. Lucia, did you graduate? Did you go through Chelsea Public Schools? No? Okay. And Ms. Hernandez, I'm not going to, I'm gonna save our last. And then Maida, did I give you yours? No. Okay, Maida. Did you go to Chelsea Public Schools? She did. Maida went to Chelsea Public Schools. Awesome. Okay. And to our student reps, Vanessa Lopez, Rosalia Hernandez, and Diana Garcia. You guys have been amazing student reps, and how you represent Chelsea High School, the way you come and you present and you do your research is phenomenal. And I hear that one of you just may have gotten a full ride scholarship somewhere. So, are you gonna tell us where you're going to college?
Amherst College.
Yay. Okay.
Thank you, Elmi. I just want to say something. I didn't graduate from the Chelsea High School, but I graduated from the Early Learning Center Adult Education. I got my GED there, and I continued student from, once that I went to the early education for learning English, then I went to Bunker Hill Community College, and then I continued going for the more.
And we have one more certificate, and Veronica is going to give you that description, because we can't leave this person out.
So the school committee would like to officially recognize and proudly present Dr. Almi Giabeda for her outstanding leadership, dedication, and unwavering commitment to empowering the next generation of female leaders.
Thank you. Oh, okay. We can go.
I don't want to. Everybody else. Look at me.
Thank you.
Oh, I gotta take my certificate.
Thank you.
You gotta take your certificate.
Okay. Yes, I got 2 more presentations, name, strength, and story. Okay. Each school committee this year, we have honored educators or staff that work in the Chelsea Public Schools with our Name, Strength, and Story Award. And the Name, Strength, and Story Award embodies educators, staff in our Chelsea Public Schools who really get to know our students by name, strength, and story, because it's important to know our students and have relationships with our students, and we want to honor educators who stand out in this area. Or a lot of times people will write me a note and say, hey, you know, this educator has done an amazing job. And so I have 2, and the writing on one is really small, so let me get my glasses. Okay, so this award is for, just make sure I see the name, for Amanda Morgan Grace. And the person who wrote a little note about Amanda is Jennifer Knight. And so, about Miss Morgan, yes. Amanda Morgan Grace. Do you go by Amanda or Morgan? Morgan, okay. Morgan, will you stand up so everyone can know who we're talking about here? Okay. So I'm going to read a little bit so you can stand where you're comfortable, because she wrote, I just want to read what Miss Knight wrote. So, I am writing to commend Ms. Morgan as a high school science instructional coach. Over the past couple years, I've had the privilege of working closely with Morgan and have witnessed firsthand the incredible impact Morgan has had on the science department and the broader school community at Chelsea High School. Morgan is strategic and thoughtful. She has strengthened our department by fostering collaboration and supporting teachers in implementing high-quality instructional practices. During our most recent department meeting, Ms. Knight observed you guiding the biology and chemistry team and unpacking the transfer tasks for the upcoming Open SciEd unit. Morgan stayed to work through the tasks with the biology teachers while she worked with the chemistry teachers. Not only did she ensure that all teachers had the necessary materials, but she also facilitated a process that encouraged deep engagement, critical thinking, and alignment with best practices. Morgan's commitment to backward planning was evident, and her ability to prepare teachers to confidently facilitate student learning directly contributes to the improved student process. Beyond department meetings, Morgan's leadership in PLCs has created a space where teachers feel empowered to collaborate, share insights, and refine their instructional approaches. Ms. Knight has observed Morgan facilitate numerous PLCs each week, providing teachers with choice, on-the-spot support, and opportunities for continued professional growth. Morgan's ability to transfer an environment where educators feel supported, valued, and confident in implementing rigorous, high-quality instructional materials with fidelity and efficacy is truly commendable. Morgan's impact extends beyond instructional coaching. Her co-leadership and the school-wide initiative to improve staff culture demonstrates her dedication not only to science teachers, but to the entire Chelsea High School faculty. Morgan's efforts to create a supportive and empowering environment have significantly contributed to a stronger sense of belonging within Chelsea High School. Ms. Knight, thank you for sharing this with us. So, Morgan, we have a certificate for you and a little cup that says Believe. our next awardee was actually Michael Sullivan's, is wanting to honor Mr. John I'm sorry, Ruggiero. Am I saying that right? I am so sorry, John. No, I want to know how to say it. Ruggiero. See, I apologize, Ruggiero. Thank you. I think it's important to say your name correctly, so I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. So, Mr. Solomon says, "Hi, everyone. Knowing that John Ruggiero is getting a Name, Strength, and Story award on Thursday, he actually came up when I was interviewing our student, Sophia Vasquez, at Chelsea High School yesterday. Sophia is a former student of his and credited the ideas in the medicine program for influencing her interests in the medical field. Here's a quote she had to share. I had a teacher in the 7th grade. His name was Mr. Ruggiero, and he was very cool, and he always had a lot to say about higher education. He is also very respectful towards people in that field, so it kind of, I think, passed on to me, because now I think that people in the medical field or people with higher education are very cool." And so, John, I do want to thank you. You do anything and everything. I appreciate how you volunteer all the time, whether it's AI, whatever it is at the right school. And I see your former principal just shaking her head over here. Michelle, would you like to say something? Yes.
Michelle, can you use the mic so everyone at home can hear you?
I have my school teacher voice, though. So I worked with John for a number of years as his principal, but more importantly, his colleague. I can't tell you how many nights John stayed after school and the custodians would text me to make sure it was okay, because he was there doing MCAS prep with our kids and serving them pizza and working on research projects. He never fails to put up his best effort when it comes to kids, and he pulled through multiple times, not only for me, but for students, teaching 2 classes at once at times, cycling through, always being honest with me about what was going on in the building and what he was seeing. And John, I cannot thank you enough.
Yeah, why don't we move it up, because it's almost 8 o'clock already.
Yes, let's see.
Can, are we finished with the awards?
Yes, we are. That completes my presentations for the night.
I'd like to make a motion to move out of order, to move our budget discussion up to be next.
We have a second?
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we'll move the budget item up next to new business. Thank you so much. Okay. Consideration and action to accept and adopt the recommendation of the school superintendent and approve the following line item amounts from the general fund for the 2025 to 2026 school budget totaling $150,891,360.
May I speak on it?
Excuse me?
May I speak on it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I just have a couple comments and a couple questions. I was really happy today that, that we got a lot of feedback about the budget from the youth today. Although we can't directly answer public comments during this portion of our meeting. And I was thinking about the fact that we have a budget process and a budget timeline with several hearings and several meetings that we've had over the past 2 months or so, where we have, where Almi and her team have presented the budget to us and the different proposals, where we've heard feedback and where we've gotten to have those discussions. But there weren't a lot of, I didn't hear, in the budget meetings that I went to, I didn't get to hear as many voices from students as I have over the past week. And so it's making me reflect over how I, as a school committee member, might do better next year in communicating with different people to make sure that all of our high school and middle school students are aware about when these meetings are happening, and so that we can make sure that you're included and that your voices will be heard. So I'm going to consider that. I have some ideas about how I can do better next year, and I just want to know that student input into the budget is really, really important to me. Now, when it comes to tonight, this is, I think it's our final meeting, or it was, it could be our final meeting if we vote to approve the budget tonight, and that's, I think, what some people were expecting to happen. So I have a couple questions about, what exactly are we voting on tonight? So my first question is if Dr. Abeda can explain, or maybe Billy Joe can explain, we are approving, a budget is not, what we approve isn't like, okay, you have to spend exactly this many cents on every single thing that's in this document. There's still some flexibility to move things around. So tonight, how much, what are we approving and what is flexible to be moved around?
So what you're approving tonight is a budget that is $150 million. And in those larger line items is where there's flexibility. So I'll give you an example. One is on what I heard tonight, safety. So if there was something in regards to we need extra security guards, although that's not what I'm just using that as an example, then that could come out of a line item that we have under security, where it says security and buildings and grounds. So that line item is actually $1 million. So within that $1 million, there is some flexibility for those things. Another example is professional development. We heard that that students wanted sex education. So if that's the case, within our mental health and wellness budget, we have line items in the mental health and wellness budget. Those line items could go towards training or seminars, or even we can shift things around to create another health sex education class at the high school. So it's those types of flexibilities. So there are flexibilities within the current schedule that are built in for those reasons.
Are you all done, Sarah?
Thank you. That helps a lot. So there's still some flexibility to. The budget doesn't it doesn't set in stone every single thing that's going to happen in the schools over the next year. There's still a lot of avenues to share feedback and, you know, have things change at the school level, it sounds like. So that's really helpful to know. And the other question that I have is, I heard over the past week some students asking about the cafeteria, and some students asking like, well, we spent money to renovate the cafeteria, you know, could that money have been spent in other ways? Can you tell us a little bit about the history of that and how it came to be?
So the money for the cafeteria was earmarked several years ago with money through this, that we received through the city through COVID stimulus dollars. There were only certain things that those dollars could be spent on, and so a new functioning cafeteria fit that the requirement of the monies that we received. So we oftentimes receive funding that is restricted and is for certain things only. And so with those restricted funds, we have to spend money in those certain areas.
Or we lose it.
Or we lose it, or we have to return it.
Thanks, that makes sense. So the COVID money went to the cafeteria, and it started a couple years ago, right?
At least, yeah, like probably I want to say three years ago. But that funding actually came from the former city manager. It was earmarked where they were during COVID.
Yeah, I think that's my only comment. I'm going to be voting to approve the budget tonight. I feel comfortable that, you know, it's a budget that is going to serve our community well over the next year. And I just encourage young people, this isn't the end of the conversation. I want to, you know, I would love to see people continue to advocate and continue to talk about what you want to see change in the schools. And it doesn't, just because we're voting to approve a budget doesn't mean that the conversation's over. So thank you.
And if I may add, each school has a budget. So each, like Chelsea High School has its own budget. And within that budget, school communities can make decisions about what they want to spend their finances on. So every school has a school site council that people can give input during the budget season on. And so again, just to reiterate, at the school level, that's another way for our youth and our students to really have a voice. And at this level too, because we do offer several input sessions. We've had 3 of those meetings, and one of them was virtual. We also had 5 other school committee meetings dedicated, or was it 5 other school committee meetings dedicated to the budget this year.
All set? Claudia?
Thank you for coming, everyone. I just want to say that, as it was mentioned, we did have multiple sessions. As far as communication is concerned, I urge everyone here, if we don't have, because with the conversations that we've had, one thing that has become increasingly evident is that maybe the streamlining communication, there seems to be a disconnect, right? So either we need to help parents. Some people express the need for parents to have access to the same information. So we either need to help parents get on board with Parent Square, so that they can also access the same information via, text, emails, as well, because that's the best way. Most of the schools also have their set social media accounts. I know perhaps most of you guys also have social media accounts where you can also follow each of the schools and see what's going on, and also keep in touch with the happenings of each school. As far as the budget is concerned, as we mentioned, there's a little bit of wiggle room. If you want to know or hear a little bit more about said topics, in certain cases, in order for one thing to be able to spend, we then also have to have a separate meeting to have a conversation, to have the proper policies in place. So as we mentioned in another meeting, that's why in certain instances, it seems like it's taking a while, but we do collect community input because the topics at hand might change depending on the climate, right, of what's happening. So this is important, and I will also be voting in favor as we have extensive data to support the budget. And I also want to thank Dr. Abeyta and everybody that also went above and beyond to ensure that we got not only the allocated budget, but the additional funding, because we did go to the city manager and to city council and requested additional funds. So that's something that we should also consider. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. All set? Okay. So with that being said, can we move on to a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. O'Regan?
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez? Ms. Cabral?
Yes.
Ms. Valderas?
Yes.
Dr. Neville?
Yes.
Ms. Covas Caraballo?
Yes.
That's 7 in the affirmative and 2 absent.
7 in the affirmative and 2 absent, motion passes. We will,
And I have a motion to go back into order.
yes,
I make a motion.
I second.
thank you. We'll go back into order. We will go back to the report of the superintendents of schools. You're more than we're more than happy if you stay, but we moved the budget up so that you guys, if you didn't want to listen to the rest of our boring stuff, you could leave. But it's getting late. But you can listen to the rest of our meeting and enjoy. I hope that the explanation that Sarah and Gladys gave and Dr. Abeyta helped clarify a little bit more about the budget and how the money, why the certain money gets spent on certain items that may not make total sense to you, which, of course, if no one explains this to you, you wouldn't understand why the money was used for the cafeteria if no one explains why it was used for the cafeteria. But I want to thank you for the comments that you guys made tonight. They were very good suggestions. I fully agree with them, and please continue to give us this input because we need to hear stuff like this. This is really good stuff, what we heard tonight. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Dr. Abeyta.
So the next part, thank you. The next part is our student representatives.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman Hernandez and Dr. Abeyta, and to the rest of the school committee members. I want to start off the updates by talking about the athletics at Chelsea High School. Track just started on March 17th, and practices have been going pretty well. Students seem to be really excited and enthusiastic about the new season, and especially with the new weather and everything. Like, it's more summery and stuff, so everybody's really happy and excited. I know.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman Hernandez, Dr. Abeyta, and the rest of the school committee members. I would like to move on to extracurriculars, starting with with our spring musical Cinderella, which opens up next week. Also, for the first time since 2018, Drama Club will be performing a Saturday matinee show at 1 p.m. There will be a show on April 4th at 7 p.m. And April 5th at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Pre-order tickets will be $5 while at the door, or aka entrance. They will be $8. Please make sure to support the CHS Drama Club, and we'll be waiting for you there.
Regarding the yearbook club, they just held opportunities for seniors to take their senior portraits. They were able to make appointments or show up to the main office to see if there was any free openings. I took mine. It was really nice. It was very professional, and the teacher was nice, so There might be another opportunity, but that's still in debate. We'll see how many pictures we actually ended up getting. I guess they can take it tomorrow too. Sorry. And then to move on to events for the self-care fair, I feel like I can speak for all the TAP members that this was the best self-care fair event we've had.
Thank you. We requested that she stop speaking so that the children could clear out.
I'll just start over. For the self-care fair event, I feel like I can speak for all the TAP members that this was probably our best one yet. I think within a, oh, sorry. I feel like I can speak.
I don't think you need to.
Is anyone using interpretation?
Is somebody using interpretation? No, I don't think so.
Everything's.
Yeah, the ladies down there.
Yeah, it was really fun. Everybody was able to see all the cute, we had like baby animals and stuff, and it was really nice, all the activities, so I'm really glad it went well.
Another event we had was Belle of the Ball. I mean, we were participated in, right? Belle of the Ball was a special event organized to support high school students, juniors and seniors in need of a prom dress. Students went on a field trip to the Heinz Convention Center, where they were able to choose from a wide selection of beautiful dresses donated by generous contributors. This event is a wonderful opportunity for students in financial need to get prom dresses or dresses in general, right, for no cost at all.
Parent-teacher conferences will be held next Thursday on April 3rd. This is a perfect opportunity for parents to meet their child's teacher, especially now with the new quarter. Some kids might have new teachers or new classes, so they're able to meet with them. If they're not able to attend, they can reach out to them on Parent Square or by email.
Now moving on to academics, MCAS. Sophomores for the last 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, have been taking the ELA MCAS test. The MCAS, Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System, for sophomores is an important standardized test that evaluates students' knowledge and skills in key subject areas.
And tomorrow, the third quarter will be ending for high schoolers and I think all schools. But for seniors, regarding seniors, by this point, many of them have actually found the status of the schools that they applied to and are looking at financial aid packages. They're looking through a lot of numbers. I've been looking through a lot of numbers, so I recommend maybe creating like a Google Sheet. That's what I did, or most importantly, talking to your guidance counselor, because this is the time where you're gonna need them the most, like figuring out all that stuff. So, and then lastly, to move it on to Yuli.
Okay. Lastly, AP mock exams have started, and the mock exams and the AP exams take up to 4 hours. The AP exams are a wonderful way for students to gain college credit before going to college if they get a 3 or above. And good luck.
Thank you so much. Once again, I forgot to turn my mic on. We'll move on to the the committee reports. I meant to move the committee reports to the record. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Thank you. And we have no old business. We'll move on to new business. Consideration and action to forgo school choice for the 2025-2026 school year. Can I get a roll call?
Ms. Hernandez? This is where we vote yes
I have to say
forego.
no, right?
No, you have to say
Yeah,
yes.
No, I have
No.
to say yes.
Yes.
Yes, to forego. This always confuses
So
me.
we vote yes
every year.
to say no to it.
Yes, sorry. Every year I go through this. 15 years I've been doing this. That's all right.
So is that a yes, Ms. Hernandez?
Yes, that's a yes.
Mr. O'Regan?
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez? Ms. Cabral?
Yes.
Ms. Valderas?
Yes.
Dr. Neville?
Yes.
Ms. Cuevas Caraballo?
Yes.
And that's 7 in the affirmative and 2 absent.
Seven in the affirmative, 2 absent, motion carries. Next item is Chair Hernandez moves to accept the Chelsea Public Schools calendar for school year 2025 to 2026. Can I get a roll call?
Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. O'Regan?
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez? Yes. Ms. Cabral?
Yes.
Ms. Valderas?
Yes.
Dr. Neville?
Yes.
Ms. Cuevas Caraballo?
Yes.
That's 7 in the affirmative and 2 absent.
7 in the affirmative, 2 absent, motion carries. Next item is consideration and action to accept and approve the revised operating protocols for the Chelsea School Committee. Roll call, please.
Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. O'Regan?
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez? Ms. Cabral?
Yes.
Ms. Valderas?
Yes.
Dr. Neville?
Yes.
Ms. Cuevas Caraballo?
Sorry, I was going to say before we voted on it, I just wanted to clarify that I saw that there was a timeline within the operating protocols, and I wanted to discuss that. So I wanted to have a discussion first, because we have been moving this over so that there's members. I know that we have discussed it in subcommittees.
Yeah. It's an enclosure D.
Yes, it's an enclosure D, and it's just the part where it says that we're going to try to ensure that our meetings are about 2.5 hours. And I just want to point out that sometimes our retreat, first of all, I just want to be respectful to if we're going to be presenting or anything along those lines, or if we're going to be doing not only the presentations, but also giving out awards. We have 1 meeting a month, and I think it's important that when we have a topic of conversation, we are able to thoroughly discuss it. Obviously, we don't have to have an extended conversation, but especially during budget season, and it's understood, right, that we're gonna have some meetings that are gonna run a little bit longer. I think we should leave that out and just be mindful of the amount of time that we're having. If we have a couple of items on the agenda that are a little bit more lengthy, then do the subcommittee so that we're extending them. But I don't think it's appropriate, nor especially with the need or the request for transparency that seems to be reoccurring in conversations, to keep having a time limit. So that's just my.
I think that's a really good point. Sorry, is it okay if I think that's a good point, that, you know, sometimes transparency requires that we go long and maybe even longer than 2.5 hours. And if a presentation is more than 20 minutes, especially because there's a lot of discussion around it in Q&A, that's appropriate. I don't necessarily think that we need to change the language of the operating protocols, because they're not, this isn't like a formal rule. It's more guidelines for planning. So it seems that the way that it's written to plan meetings that do not extend beyond 2.5 hours and to expect that presentations will be 20 minutes or less is more about guidelines that the chair should consider when setting the agenda and when the superintendent is arranging presentations by staff. So I think that Claudia is right, but I also am not sure that we really need to make a formal change to the language of the operating protocols. But I don't know what people think.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say that I do feel like I do want to remove that piece of that language, only because in the same document, we're saying that no one school committee member actually holds more autonomy over the next. So when we were just, requesting additional field training, the field trainer requested that we block off at least a 3-hour session. And I understand that that's a special meeting, but still, I think if someone's taken the time to make a presentation, I don't want anybody to feel that they can't ask questions or that something seems similar, because again, we've already discussed that not everybody learns the same way. Some people, don't listen to the same members a certain way versus the other members. I think different members have other ways to explain themselves. So I make a motion to amend that part, and if we could just remove the time, the 2 bullets where it's specifically requiring time frame for our meetings, so that we can discuss and have our meetings so that the topics at hand could be discussed properly and fairly, and obviously we're going to be mindful, then I would be happy with that. So I make a motion to make those minor adjustments. And
is everyone comfortable with making those, removing those items?
Should we have a roll call?
Yeah, let's have a roll call for removing the 2 items, and then we'll do a roll call for the protocol, okay? Thank you, Vero.
Consideration to amend the operating protocols, removing those 2 bullet items referring to the time. Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. O'Regan?
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez? Yes. Ms. Cabral?
Yes.
Ms. Valderas?
Yes.
Dr. Neville?
Yes.
Ms. Covas Caraballo?
yes.
That's 7 in the affirmative. Motion carries.
7 in the affirmative, 2
Sorry,
absent.
2 absent.
2 absent, motion passes. We'll remove those 2 items.
Thank you.
And then we'll do a roll call for the protocols. Do you want me to read the protocol item again?
I would just say we would consideration and action to accept and approve the revised operating protocols, and this with that amendment for the Chelsea School Committee.
Okay.
So, Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. O'Regan?
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez? Yes. Ms. Cabral?
Yes.
Ms. Valderas?
Yes.
Dr. Neville?
Yes.
Ms. Covas Caraballo?
Yes.
That's 7 in the affirmative and 2 absent.
7 in the affirmative, 2 absent, motion passes. Next item is consideration and action to accept the recommendation of superintendent to approve the following 2 out-of-state field trips and 1 in-state overnight field trip. April 9th, 2025 to April 10th, overnight trip to Blue Hills Reservation for 10 COA students and 3 chaperones for outdoor experience course. April 17th, trip to Newport Mansions, Newport, Rhode Island for 178 Chelsea High School students and 20 chaperones for Gilded Age historical research. June 9th, 2025, out-of-state trip to Canopy Lake Park, Salem, New Hampshire for 153 Clark Ave students and 15 chaperones for end-of-year school engagement experience for 8th graders. Can I get a roll call?
Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mr. O'Regan?
Yes.
Ms. Enriquez? Yes. Ms. Cabral?
Yes.
Ms. Valderas?
Yes.
Dr. Neville? Yes. Ms. Covas Caraballo?
Yes.
That's 7 in the affirmative and 2 absent.
7 in the affirmative, 2 absent, motion passes. With this item, we end our new business section and we move on. I'd like to take a moment, I guess, to make a comment. We've had a very interesting last week, I guess, We have had a lot of input from our teenagers, our youth, and it has been both eye-opening and saddening in some ways. But I think for the most part, it's given us information that will help us improve how we're doing business, how we are serving them, because this is truly, we are serving them. We are helping them get their education to start their lives. And probably the biggest job that exists out there outside of parenting. I do want to say that this is a team effort. It is home, along with the schools, along with the school committee, along with the community, and we all need to really work together. We need to work hand in hand, the community programs, along with the adults, even if you don't have children. We need to work together to help get these kids, because these, and as cliche as it may sound, this is our future. And this is who is going to provide for themselves, for their children, for the world, and for what the future holds. And I know we have lots of talent, and we have lots of wonderful children, because we really do have them. I have a lot of faith in our kids. I have a lot of faith in our city, and I know that there's a lot of stuff happening that all of us would prefer not to be happening. And sad as it may be, we're still doing better than a lot of other towns are, and that doesn't say much, because we still have way too much violence, because one incident that hurts one child is way too many. And it saddens, because the first thing you think of when you hear that a child has been in an incident, in my sake, the first thing I think of is his mom. And I say, oh Lord, his mother. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. So I just want to say that we will continue to work as hard as we possibly can to get these kids what they need to be able to find their ways and find their true path on where they need to go. We just need to work all together. We cannot work against each other. We have to work together. And with that said, I'm both. I feel encouraged, because I feel like I finally heard from kids and heard from their mouths what's concerning them. And I think it's very different from when you hear in the streets, or you hear somebody says somebody said to them, versus when you hear them say it to you. And so I feel empowered, and I feel that we will conquer this beast. And I thank you all for all your hard work. And I thank the parents that are there working along with us to get their children on the right path, because it's a hard job. And we'll work with you every step of the way. And does anyone else have any comments they'd like to make? Anything they would like to say? I know it's been a long evening.
I just want to say that we know that issues have been happening for a long time. And I know some students are kind of like afraid to speak up. And I think they should not be afraid, because when you're afraid, nobody's going to help you to move on, and you need to really speak up. So quiero decirles a los estudiantes que no tengan miedo, que hablen, porque es muy importante que ustedes hablen para que los puedan escuchar y puedan ayudarlos a salir de donde están. También queremos decirle que vamos a estar tratando de darles el soporte que necesitan, porque para eso estamos aquí, para poder ayudarlos en todo lo que nosotros podamos. Y le agradecemos de que estén hablando, porque en verdad si ustedes no hablan, nosotros no vamos a saber las experiencias que ustedes están teniendo dentro de la escuela. So it's very important for you guys to speak up, so we know what's going on inside the schools. We know that, there are things that we don't know, and if you don't say it, we cannot change it. So thank you so much for helping us to see and realize that we need to do more, and we need to, the safety for you is the priority, and we're gonna continue to do our effort to make those changes. Thank you so much.
I would like to say, I don't like to continue repeating what the other members are already mentioning. What I mentioned last night, I've been in a school committee for a while, and this is the first time when I was last night at that meeting. It's like it really opened my mind, or in a way that what's going on here? What's going on here? It really affected me when I went home to think about so many things going on in the schools, inside the schools, and for us just to have this kind of meeting that happened last night, it made me think, what happened? I don't want to sound judgmental, but this is something that should have happened a while ago, had these meetings, not only with us, but the schools, the administrator, the principal. What's going on with the principal that are knowing that there are these problems in the school, doesn't address these issues with the staff? Why he doesn't really talk about a structure? What is going on with this, with the security guards? Are here outside in the community. Some comments that are really bad about security themselves, seeing students going to that bathroom and not doing anything. That really bothers me so much last night that it made me think, what am I doing here? What we are doing here? I don't really like to talk just to make people happy. We need to talk and do action. We have to be asking accountability to the people that we have in the school for the security of our children, for the safety of our children, for the best education that we can provide in each school. But this is something last night, it was an awakening call for me. And I know that we try to communicate with the community, and this is an effort not only from some organizations out there that are an example, that the meeting that happened the week before. We need to be accountable of what's going on in the community with the parents and with the students. If we don't know what's going on, then we are here for nothing. And that's really what I'm calling here, the community, the organizations, parents, students, and everybody to come together and make a difference, but not just to take a picture. Hi, I'm here for you. No, let's do something that is very responsible from us to help our students and make some responsibility from the school to our staff. The staff that is in the school is responsible for the education of our children. And we have a responsibility to call them accountable for that. So this is something that really, since I've been a while at the school committee, and I always mention I'm a quiet person because I hear a lot of comments and I don't want to be like a copycat, just talking. But it is time. It is really time that what we say that we're gonna do for our students, we do it. Don't be here only because you wanna be here to take a picture and to be for yourself. You are not here for yourself. You are here to serve them, the community, the people that are really put us here. So make that difference, okay? And thank you, I wanna appreciate you, that I saw you, you parents, that I saw you, you. And you, whoever was there, I really appreciate that. I'm sorry that I don't know your name, but I know that you work for the Chamber of Commerce. And I appreciate that you came, that you are here, because by you being here, is telling us more. That you are asking us to do more of what happened last night. So thank you. And it won't be a promise just because we are talking, but it's a promise that we have to make people accountable. Okay? So thank you so much.
Go. She doesn't talk often, but when she does, Thank you very much. And we couldn't finish this meeting without Claudia talking.
No. And speaking of accountability, I'm going to piggyback because, I'm not going to repeat. But as I mentioned yesterday, when we go ahead and we hold accountability, I want to remind everyone that we sit here before you, the Chelsea School Committee, City Council, but we are representatives of one school district, right? One school body. And our creed is, we welcome and we educate all. That is not the only system of education in the city of Chelsea. And if we're going to also address youth violence and all of the incidents that have happened, as we mentioned, we have to have a deeper conversation with all of the proper stakeholders, and yes, hold every single member accountable. And I think to point out what my colleague was saying, part of the reason why most of the comments were so jarring is because it's a different story if you've already heard certain comments multiple times. But when you're hearing them for the first time at a public setting, especially sometimes from colleagues or members that you see within the community, be it because they just don't feel comfortable or they don't know how to go about it, that says a lot. So I'm happy that we're having the conversation. Hopefully we can learn to have more of a fluid conversations down the road so that things can get done properly. But yeah, other than that, I'm so grateful that we were able to celebrate so many wonderful people today, because they really do wonderful jobs during the course of the school days. They make our district, run very, very well. So thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. And we all done? Yeah? Okay. I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I second the motion.
Meeting has adjourned.